What if the person you can't stop thinking about disappeared tomorrow? Would you stand tall, unshaken, or would you collapse like a house of cards in a storm? We call the ache in our chest love, but let's be real, it's often fear wearing a romantic mask. Fear of being alone. Fear of not being enough. Fear that without someone to mirror your worth, you'd vanish into thin air. You know the feeling, that knot in your gut when they don't reply, the tremble in your fingers as you stare at an unread message, the sleepless nights refreshing their status, hoping for a sign. That's not love. That's anxiety dressed up as devotion, attachment chaining your heart to someone else's whims. The Stoics, those ancient masters of clarity, would say it's not the loss itself that breaks you, it's your refusal to let go of what was never truly yours. When your peace hinges on another's presence, you've already surrendered your freedom. And when they walk away, it feels like you're fading too. But there's a better way, a path to love without shackles, to stand firm even when you let go. If you're ready to pause, to look within, and to be brutally honest with yourself, let's walk this road together. Subscribe to Wisdom Waves Aura, and let's uncover how to love fiercely yet freely, starting now. Have you ever caught yourself disappearing into someone else? You tweak your words, soften your edges, silence your truth, all to keep them close. It's subtle at first, a compromise here, a swallowed feeling there, until one day you wake up and barely recognize the person you've become. You've been bending yourself into what you think they want, erasing pieces of who you are to avoid losing them. The Stoics would call this dependency, not love. It's the illusion that without this person, you'll crumble. It feels like love because it hits like a wave on parched sand, but that rush isn't nourishment, it's a fleeting fix for a deeper void you've been dodging. True love sets you free, attachment locks you in a cage you mistake for comfort. I once met someone who stayed in a draining relationship for years, calling it loyalty. He thought his endless sacrifices proved his devotion, but really, he was terrified of facing himself without her. He admitted the scariest thing wasn't losing her, it was waking up alone, with no one to reflect his worth. So he stayed, shrinking smaller each day. What he didn't see then was that absence, faced with courage, could be his greatest teacher. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's the pivot point, your peace doesn't live in someone else's hands. When you stop outsourcing your worth, the void you dread becomes a space to meet yourself. Check out Wisdom Waves Aura for more on reclaiming that inner strength. Most of us carry wounds we've never dared to face. Instead of healing them, we drape them in someone else's affection, feeding off their attention to numb the ache. We become emotional leeches, not because we're cruel, but because we're scared that without them, the rawness within would swallow us whole. There comes a moment, though, a quiet breaking, when you see that the love you thought was saving you is actually sinking you. The constant need for reassurance has chipped away at your dignity. You're not holding on to the person anymore, but the role they play in shielding you from yourself. That truth stings, but it's also the spark of freedom. Detachment isn't coldness or running away, it's an act of deep self-respect. It's saying, I step back, not because I love you less, but because I won't abandon myself anymore. It feels like standing on a cliff, staring into the unknown, tempted to run back to the familiar, even if it's been breaking you. But every time you resist that pull, you build the muscle to stand tall. Over time, you realize the absence you feared isn't a void, it's a clearing, a space to rebuild without interference, where your sense of self isn't borrowed from someone else's affection but rooted in your own unshakable values. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." Detachment is that bravery. It's choosing to love without chains, to give without keeping score, to walk away without feeling the ground vanish beneath you. Follow Wisdom Waves Aura to dive deeper into this liberating shift. Have you ever thought letting go means you've stopped loving? Most people do. They see detachment as heartless, a sign the bond is dead. But detachment isn't the end of love, it's the start of loving without chains. It's releasing the fear of loss, Understanding that real love doesn't demand you shrink or sacrifice your essence to keep it alive. It calls you to grow, to expand, to be more of yourself. Detachment is an inner revolution, staring fear in the face and saying, "You don't own me." It's standing at the edge of uncertainty and refusing to flinch. It hurts because you've convinced yourself they're essential to your survival, but when you let go, everything changes, not the world, but how you see it. You shift from lack to fullness. Detachment isn't closing your heart, it's opening it without conditions, saying, "I love you, but I don't need you to be whole." That's the greatest gift you can give, love without pressure, without manipulation. I knew a woman who lived in constant fear her partner would leave. She measured every word to avoid his withdrawal, thinking it was care. When he left anyway, she fell apart, until she rediscovered the quiet joy of her own company. The pain of breaking that chain was brutal, but it let her love from abundance, not hunger. Marcus Aurelius said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." Detachment means holding relationships with open hands, knowing what stays does so freely, and what leaves was never yours to keep. Join Wisdom Waves Aura to explore this fearless way of loving. Detachment feels like stepping into an abyss, where there's no one to distract you from yourself. It strips away the noise of familiar patterns, leaving you face to face with your shadows. Most people turn back, preferring the known prison of attachment to the disorienting freedom of solitude. But the Stoics taught that what you fear most hides what you need most. Beyond that abyss lies a life of peace that doesn't depend on anyone else, a love that flows naturally from within. Letting go isn't losing, it's recovering the parts of yourself you gave away. I knew someone who clung to a relationship long after it stopped nourishing them. They thought it was love, but it was fear wearing love's mask. When they finally walked away, it felt like tearing their soul apart, but in time, they found a quiet certainty, they could stand alone. True love doesn't wound your soul or make you small. If it robs your peace or demands you betray yourself, it's not love, it's captivity. Seneca wrote, "He who is brave is free." Freedom in love comes from knowing you can walk away whole. To love as a free person, you must embrace solitude without crumbling, explore your mind without flinching, and steady yourself when the world tilts. Only then can you say, "I choose you, but I don't need you." That's power, born from strength, not scarcity. Tune into Wisdom Waves Aura for more on crossing this abyss. Why does letting go feel like being ripped apart? Because the roots of attachment stretch deep, often to childhood moments when you learned love came with a price: be good, be quiet, be perfect. That early conditioning taught you your worth depended on others' approval. The adult taking in love today is the child who felt they were never enough. The Stoics would say unless you face this wound, it will rule you. You'll cling, beg, tolerate the intolerable, just to avoid that old sting of abandonment. Worse, you'll fall for potential, not reality, waiting for someone to change, sacrificing your present for a future that never comes. I knew someone who spent a decade in a relationship built on hope, convinced one more conversation would fix it. They shrank, lost themselves, and realized too late they'd been living for a fantasy. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If someone does wrong, it is because they do not know better. But you have the power to act justly." Acting justly means refusing to be a hostage to someone else's transformation. Break free by untangling your worth from others' approval and living in the present, not a dreamed-up future. This isn't giving up hope, it's reclaiming your life. Subscribe to Wisdom Waves Aura to learn how to live in truth. Ever wonder why calm feels wrong, like something's missing? If you've lived on an emotional roller coaster, healthy love can feel flat. You've been trained to equate love with struggle, to crave the highs and lows of chaos. The Stoics called this being enslaved to passion, not vitality, but dependence on what unsettles you. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." When you're hooked on drama, you hand that power away, pushing away those who love you without demanding you break. Breaking this cycle starts with awareness. Stop romanticizing what hurts you. Jealousy isn't love, suffering doesn't prove depth. Love should never cost your mental health. Turn inward, affirm your worth, and hold firm to what you won't tolerate. Losing someone who can't love you as you are isn't loss, it's freedom. The Stoics knew relationships should be shared journeys, not lifelines. When you're whole, you don't chase approval, you build connections from choice, not need. Check out WisdomWavesAura to break free from drama's grip. What if the love of your life isn't a person, but your own growth? The moment you stop betraying yourself for comfort, loss becomes life, clearing away what holds you back. Detachment burns, but it's the fever before healing. In the stillness, you realize being alone isn't emptiness, it's a sacred space to hear your own voice. I heard of a man who chased a love always out of reach, thinking it gave his life meaning. One day, alone, he found the silence wasn't suffocating, it was gentle. He'd been absent from his own life. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life." You weren't born to beg, you came to create, to rise. True love doesn't bind, it frees. It's quiet, not shouting for sacrifice. If this resonates, comment "Choose Peace" on WisdomWavesAura. It's your anchor, a reminder that peace is a choice you claim, no matter who stays or leaves. Subscribe to keep walking this path, stripping away illusions to live freely. The truth is, once you see love clearly, you can't unsee it. The familiar may call, but every step forward brings you closer to a life that's yours, grounded in freedom, guided by reason, and rich in love that never costs you yourself.